Hey you guys, Assalamualaikum. So it's been a while since I made a video by myself, but I felt like this is a topic that only requires me. Today I'm going to be talking about the heartbreak that goes along with trying to get pregnant and kind of give little tips and kind of as well as answer questions that have been asked since announcing my pregnancy. Not everybody can accidentally get pregnant, and that's something that I believed growing up. Alhamdulillah, my mother was blessed with fertility, so she was able to have kids, like, snap of a finger, she's pregnant, basically. My grandmother as well, my father's mother, she was also very fertile. You think, okay, the women in your family are fertile, they get pregnant when they blink, you should be able to get pregnant when you blink, basically. When I got married, I always made dua that Allah will bless me with a child when it's the right time for me, when it's the right time for Amir, and when it's the right time in our marriage. And alhamdulillah, I'm really glad I made this dua because it really helped me get through everything that I was going through. And I want to say everything that I kind of put myself through because I wasn't really focusing on this dua that I made. I was mainly focusing on the fact that I didn't have a baby when I wanted to have a baby. I want to say a year after my first surgery, my first ovarian cyst surgery, in 2017, I decided I wanted to have a child. Like, I wanted to get pregnant. And I was like, okay, let me download these ovulation apps and let me try to use these ovulation apps. But as the months went on, nothing happened. And I was like, okay, this is weird. There's supposed to be a baby. Like, I've been blinking so many times. Where's the baby? So I was like, okay, let me go to the doctors. Let me just go to the doctors to make sure everything is okay. I went to the doctors. I had a routine physical. And during the physical, my doctor found another ovarian cyst. But this one was way bigger than before, like huge, like it was massive. And she was like, okay, let's monitor it and let's see what happens. After the monitoring it and blah, 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 it grew, and she was like, right now we don't even see your ovaries. The cyst is covering it and we don't even see it. So the likelihood of you having to get your ovaries removed is pretty high. Well, one ovary. So that freaked me out. And I was like, okay, this is why I can't get pregnant. Something's wrong with me. Like, I am damaged right now. I can't get pregnant because of this. So I was like, okay, let me get it removed. And if my ovary has to go with it, then you know what, alhamdulillah, it is what it is. Nothing that I could do about that. But alhamdulillah, the surgery went well. I got to keep my ovaries. And then I was like, okay, now that this is over, let me try to get pregnant again. So this is where it got really difficult for me because I was like, okay, I had the checkup, I got the cyst removed. What is wrong with me? And like, when you're sad about things, it's like you think the worst. There was like all these voices in my head telling me that I was basically broken because I couldn't get pregnant when I wanted to get pregnant, which is kind of like ridiculous when I think about it. Like, when I really think about it, it's like, girl, you were hella tripping. You were like tripping, like I was doing a little bit too much. So I was like, let me download these pregnancy apps. So, I would download the apps, and then I would, still consult with my doctor, and I'll tell her, I'm tracking my ovulation with these apps, but, nothing is happening. And she basically told me that those apps don't really work, and that you need to get an ovulation kit. So I was like, oh, okay. So I started buying ovulation kits, which are pretty pricey. They're pretty pricey, you guys. But I noticed with the ovulation kits, one, my menstrual cycle was irregular as heck. When I took the ovulation kits, I never reached peak fertility. And it's like, although, like, I technically ovulated and I still was able to get a period eventually, I never reached the peak fertility. There was like that hormone surge, that you kind of really need to get pregnant. And I was like, okay, this is weird. I remember one cycle in particular when I tried this, I was like 2 days late or 3 days late for my period, almost 4. Well, maybe this is when I'll get a positive pregnancy test, because even in the past when I took pregnancy tests, they always came back negative, and it was always something that was sad, but it never hurt like this time. Instead of taking the pregnancy test, I got my period. And I have never cried so much seeing my period, you know? I don't know. I just felt like something was wrong. I wasn't, I guess you would say, woman enough, you know? Oh gosh, now these pregnancy hormones are getting to me. Take me back to that same time. So then I had all these voices, you know, in my head telling me that I couldn't give Amir what he wanted. Even though, you know, he was very supportive to this whole thing. You know, he was still kind of like chilling, but it was mainly me stressing this that we needed to have a kid. So I feel like eventually he's gonna want a kid. Eventually he's gonna want one because he talks about it. He's talked about it before. So eventually he's gonna want a kid, and I won't be able to give that to him. That is what I felt like. You know, he's gonna have to get remarried so he could have a kid, and you know, and I won't be the woman to give him that. So I was like basically breaking my own heart, and I was just like depressed. I was so depressed during that time. I just wanted to, you know, I just wanted to be by myself. I had my mom telling me and other people telling me that what's meant to be is going to be. These pregnancy hormones, you guys, are serious. I've never cried so much in my life since being pregnant. You know, my mom would tell me that women are tested different ways, and how even like the greatest of women in Islam, they never birthed children. It didn't take anything away from them. It was just something that they had to go through. These hormones. I mean, like gosh, my gosh. So she would tell me that if that trial is meant for me, then, you know, basically like it's okay. Like I will be okay. And there are ways that I will still be able to have children in my life or still be able to care for children like the way these women did. So she really helped me not beat myself up about it because I needed to hear that. Oh my gosh. I'm still crying, you guys. Let's keep going. Come on, you don't have emotions. But I needed to hear that I wasn't broken. Right, so I was like, let me continue to make dua and let me focus on the dua that I have been making since, you know, being married, which is, you know, Allah bless me with a child when it's the right time. So alhamdulillah, like I was able to tell myself and, you know, get past this with the help of people in my life that it's just not meant right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. Let me stop freaking out about this. Let me stop. So I kind of took a little break. And then by a break, I just mean like a month. I took like a month's break from this, from trying to get pregnant. Actually, a couple months. I took a couple month break from trying to get pregnant. And just to kind of get my emotional and mental state back, you know. And alhamdulillah, I needed that break. I needed to stop obsessing over it and stop obsessing over me and, you know, being pregnant. So during this mental break, towards the end of this mental break, I was able to do some research about fertility, and I found this tea, right? And it's called Pink Stork Fertility Tea. And I was reading the reviews on Amazon, and everybody in the reviews, well, I want to say about like 70 to 85% of the women who drank this tea got pregnant within the first month, right? And I was like, okay, this is great. Let me try this. I used the fertility tea along with the ovulation kit and this certain like lubricant that helps with getting pregnant. So I'm gonna put all that inside the description. Alhamdulillah, like within a month, I maybe drank that tea for 3 weeks, and for the first time ever, I was able to see the peak fertility on the ovulation kit. Like I finally reached peak fertility. And in that moment I was like alhamdulillah, like now is my chance. Like now is my chance to, you know, to try this. And I did. And alhamdulillah, like it really helped. Like I got pregnant, and alhamdulillah, like this is Allah's plan. Like it was Allah's plan. Like before, it wasn't meant for me to be pregnant at that time. You know, it wasn't a good time you know, and for whatever reason, it wasn't a good time. And I couldn't accept that, I couldn't accept that it wasn't a good time for us. But once I got pregnant, and once I saw that pregnancy test, like, all I could do was cry. Because it's like, alhamdulillah, like, I was really stressing for no reason. I was really stressing for no reason. Because everything happens when Allah plans it to happen. Like, we can make so much plans, you guys. We can make so much plans and have all these ideas, but at the end of the day, it's not up to us. It's up to, like, Allah, and He knows what's best for us. So now I kind of want to dive into ways that you could kind of help yourself get through a difficult time like this. The first things first, like, always make dua. Like, you always have to make dua before you do anything, and always ask Allah for help with whatever you want to do, and to make your situation easy, and for you to be able to accept His will no matter what happens. It's like when you start to accept something, like, and you're content with it, you could really live your life. So to be able to accept Allah's will is, I mean, it's not like an easy thing, but just like keep asking Allah to put that in your heart to be able to accept His will. Another thing is, while you're trying to get pregnant, it becomes difficult when everybody around you is getting pregnant. And, like, although you don't know their situation fully, you don't know what they've gone through, it still kind of feels like, oh wow, like I'm happy for you, but at the same time, it reminds me of what I'm missing, of what's not in my life right now. And, like, you always have to make dua for that person. Like, not even with, like, pregnancy or anything like that, but when you're striving for something and you see that somebody else has it, the worst thing you can do is ask yourself, to say, like, why them? Why not me? Because that's when you start to produce, like, the evil eye and hasad, and you don't want to intentionally give somebody, the evil eye, or intentionally wish bad for somebody. So the best thing you could do was really just make dua for them. Ask Allah to shower them with more blessings and allow their situation to be so, like, prosperous, Never look at somebody else's blessings and think that, why them? Because their blessings has nothing to do with you and yours. So just make dua for them, protect your heart and protect people from evil eye. We don't need to be giving anybody evil eye or hasad, because their blessings, y'all, got nothing to do with us. Got nothing to do with us. That's basically it. I feel like I wanted to talk about more, but it's good to get that off my chest, Yeah, so that's it.